Real quick, I was trying to find this. There was an interview with Rafe Judkins where he was talking about like how he's had like screaming matches with the woman who's like the lore master for the show, or like remember that, like it was like early
Sarah
interview.
Nakamura or whatever her name is.
Sarah Nakamura or whatever, and like there was one interview where he joked about
naming like Yellow Aja members or something.
No, there's one where there's one interview where he joked and he said something about like he once joked with her and would like send her something like, hey, can you find a way for us to like cut this person? And it's like a super important character, and he like would get back to her 8 hours later as like a joke. It's like you just wasted that woman's day.
Jeez. Oh my! Is that how we're spending the money?
I know. I'm trying to find it. I'm trying to find it. But you remember that it was early on. Remember, like there was a lot of those. I think it's maybe on one of his Instagram things.
Yeah.
Where he said that like early on was like, oh, yeah, like we would get into screaming matches over. She'd be like, you have to do this, and then. They're like the Manethrin thing, like they fought incredibly hard to keep it, like super hard to keep it.
Right. No, I remember there was like the one thing I remember was like they're talking about Aes Sedai and like coming up with a name for a character, and people were just like looking in the book and randomly pulling out names that they thought were like, okay, maybe it's this person, and he's like, are you kidding me? That person's hugely important. But like the way these characters get introduced in the book series is that there's second wave. I mean, you have like there are batches, like you've got the Salidar, Rebel Aes Sedai, and like the sitters there are important. The ones who we see in Ebu Dar are they kind of stick together and they're important.
Found it. Boom. Yeah. Sweet. Let me read. I'm going to read this Reddit post here. I'm going to pull it up. I was finding it because these people basically rail on Rafe. And they talk about how this. So let's not blame Sarah Nakamura. Evidence that she fought the good fight against most. Like most, I was disappointed in the season. I've been reading a ton online from others who feel just the same, but I think it's important to put the blame where the blame belongs. Show supporters have already started constructing a narrative to dismiss everyone who criticizes the show. Whatever, it goes on to here, all that stuff. So he says, I've seen mixed comments, this is let's start from this quote from Rafe in a tweet. There were moments where a thrilled room of writers would go, we've cracked it, it's amazing, but can insert book, canon, person, place, thing be inserted to non-canon idea instead? And Sarah's resounding withering stare would tell us to go back to the drawing board. R.I.P. Perrin talking to a bear. So this person goes on, and this is just some more comments from Rafe about Sarah Nakamura, who is out there fighting the good fight. All right, she's the one person in there. She's the light. Says, I have Sarah Nakamura talk me through the long-term ramifications of any changes so that we can get what's going to happen. Sometimes to drive her crazy, I will send a casual email that's just like, hey, can you work up a long-term ramifications list if we kill Tom? And just keep going like it's a total normal day as she collapses as a human being. Then tell her we're not going to kill him. I think it helps keep her on her toes, but she probably disagrees. Ha ha.
You're kidding me.
I'm not, dude. These are, they have links to these comments. These are legit comments from Rafe, man.
Hold on. Go back to what's the other. So she wasn't even in the room for a lot of decision. They just asked her for information. Hold on, let's go. There was to say. Even if Rafe is just joking about Tom, that's evidence of how loosely they were playing with the story and how the best she could do was play defense. Same with the description from another tweet. What does that tweet say? That final one. Every writer receives.
Yeah. Every writer receives a document when they begin the script put together by our book expert, Sarah, that breaks down every scene in the episode and gives specific dialogue and scene references from all the books for it, especially for scenes that aren't from the books at all. We will find scenes from the books with the same characters together or talking about the same thing thematically. That said, predictably, almost all the dialogue in the show is not from the books, so as to sound as natural as possible with our locations, actors, scenes as they played. I remember that. You and I actually read that once. We read that on a YouTube video because I remember him saying that. And again, that's true. Sometimes you can't pull like direct lines. You do have to sort of change it up to make it look like it's going to work for stuff like that. So this person ends up going on and they just rail on Rafe. But I mean, I do have to say, especially like it was kind of funny at first, like because I'm like remembering some of these tweets and stuff like that. But to see now, it's almost like, dude, do you have like a blatant disregard for some of this? Like some of this stuff?
Yeah, I don't know. Someone put had a comment here that it's more of like these books are they're the background. They're the it's and I get that it's the world that it's an adaptation. That I hopefully that was a one-time thing, and even if
Right.
it was one time, I
Right.
mean, because that would be really ridiculous. I think you meant that in jest. I would hope
Right.
because that's ridiculous. If that's the case, if that's an everyday thing, that's a joke. It's
Right.
not. There's no way that it can be, right? It would be a joke.
Who knows, man?
But yeah, and you know what though? I say this. I'm glad to have read that and said, okay, she's doing the work that says, so, okay, hey, what if you kill Loyal? What are the long-term ramifications of that? Yeah, you might want to know what they are.
I mean,
You would want to know, and that is the thing. So I guess like what if they just decided to kill, like what if the people who didn't know the story and they said, all right, we got these characters, we get kind of we've read the first 3 books, but what if we just kill Matt? Like what if we just do that? We just think, what, like, is he that important? Are you kidding me? Like
yeah.
those are the kind of devastating things to like. That's an extreme one, using it extremely, but yeah, you got to be careful. I mean, you don't want to do something that's really gonna have long lasting effects, so yeah, and how much, because there are things like I brought up with Elida, like the Leandrin Elida merger. Well, then like the effects of that, like someone has to represent the White Tower and be the Amerlin seat. Someone has to have the gift of foretelling.
Yeah, he did. Rafe did say that Loyal's alive, by the way. I mean,
Yeah,
he did.
he did.
He did. I guess though is again like even Loyal being alive right now for me is still a question. Not that he is alive or he's not, but like the ramifications of stabbing Loyal with the Shadar Logoth dagger, whether he lives or dies, you have either ruined one or ruined the